He quickly inhaled, and then Suzuki Satori met Kino's gaze before speaking. I wouldn't say the possibility is zero. While I haven't studied magic academically, I feel that there might be someone out there in this world who might know what happened here. If we ask them for help, perhaps we might be able to devise an effective solution. However, it'll be very difficult. I think so too. The undead could not cry. They lacked the capacity to shed tears. However, Suzuki Satori knew that Kino was crying. Actually, I'd sensed it from a long time ago. There wouldn't be a happy end to all of this, with the sun rising and everyone waking up by themselves. In the end, I couldn't save anyone, and I couldn't bring about an ending like that. You can't be certain that you can't save them. I can't be certain that I can save them either, right? Suzuki Satori expressed his agreement with silence. However, that was based on the Yggdrasil knowledge that Suzuki Satori had. Like I said earlier, we can't say for sure that the possibility is zero. Suzuki Satori looked to the sky, and the faces of his former friends floated in the night sky. After making up his mind, Suzuki Satori expelled a breath. I have a friend called Yamaiko. She often said that children were treasure. Right now, I will carry out her will. Suzuki Satori produced the shooting star ring that Yamaiko had given him. Truth to be told, he did not want to waste it in such a way. But Yamaiko would scold him if he did not use it now. After all, with this in hand, I can use the remaining 2 wishes for whatever I want. A strange sensation assailed Suzuki Satori as he activated the ring. He understood how to use the spell wish upon a star. He could pay several levels worth of experience to make a bigger wish. However, he only planned to use a single level's worth of experience. In other words, when he made a wish, a smaller wish was more likely to come true than a bigger one. But if it failed, the experience would be burned, and that would be the end of it. He had the feeling that restoring Kino's parents to normal was more likely to come true than restoring everyone in the city to normal. However, I wish that I would learn a way to restore the people of this city to normal. That was all. Once he understood the means, he could carry it out. However, after one of the 3 shooting stars carved into the ring vanished, all that remained with Suzuki Satori was frustration. And then, he hesitated over how he should explain all this to Kino, who was staring at him with a blank look on her face. He mock coughed a few times, and the Suzuki Satori addressed Kino with the look of a salaryman on his face. I just used an item which could grant wishes. After using it, I came to realize something, Kino-san. I'll get to the point. There is no way to restore the zombies of this city as people to their original state. That was the answer. He had lost the chance to grant a wish forever for that answer. In Yggdrasil, you were forced to pick an option from a random list of selections, so which way was better? Suzuki Satori hurried continued speaking. However, this is simply the information I have obtained with my magic. There might be another way. Therefore let's explore the world together. We'll find someone who's far better than us, ask them for help, and see what possibilities open up. Is there really such a person? I believe there is. Although a part of his mind was wondering why he was going this far to cheer her up, he had not forgotten the kinship to her which he had felt back then. Kino stared at Suzuki Satori, and then she nodded. Alright. I believe there is. Still, will it be alright? Suzuki Satori asked Kino what was alright, and she answered. Going out and exploring the world together. Is it really alright for me to accompany you? Kino looked down at her little palms. I mean, I'll get in the way. You won't. Huh. I need your strength for this. Also, in for a penny, in for a pound, as they say. I'll help you out a little more. At the very least, until she could travel by herself. Otherwise, I feel like Yamaiko-san and Touch-san would scold me. Kino Fazhersenvern. Yes, let's travel together. Kino took the hand that Suzuki Satori had extended to her. Thank you very much, Satori-sama. Kino bowed her head and trembled. While she could not shed tears, that was all. Kino was quietly sobbing without crying. Still, it would not do for her to thank him that much. After all, he had ulterior motives. Well, forget it, Suzuki Satori thought. After all, she lost everything at that moment. Helping her for a while more won't hurt. In any case, he had no goals of his own now. The things he was supposed to protect were gone, and the bonds he was supposed to maintain were broken. All that remained were this ring and this staff, as mementos, but that was all. Then let's hurry and finish our preparations so we can leave. I have a feeling there isn't much time left. Kino voiced her doubts, and Suzuki Satori explained himself. If their adversary belonged to an organization, they might have kept in contact. In that case, the enemy would get worried about losing touch with him, and so he suspected that it was very likely that they would send reinforcements over. While he could probably slaughter them all if that undead being's power was any indication of their strength, he could not conclude that there was nobody stronger than him around. Therefore, the best course of action would be to take what they could carry and leave this place as soon as possible. For that reason, he had set up little tricks in various places to keep the information from getting out. After he saw that Kino understood, the two of them returned to the castle again. So we're going traveling. Kino-san, do you have experience traveling? Pardon me, I mean, going abroad. I apologize, Satoru-sama. When I was younger than I am now, I think I went to various places within the country, but I can hardly remember it now. I see. In that case, you won't know what to bring. We're undead. We don't need to eat or sleep. Surely it would be fine to not have anything, right? Well, that is the case. But according to what you said, Kino-san, the undead are the enemies of all living beings, and they are to be destroyed on sight, am I wrong? Living openly in a world full of enemies, well, I'm not sure if it counts as living, but even if we're just existing, I feel we need to disguise ourselves to some extent. Disguise? You mean wearing masks like the Prince of Fenia, is it? Kino's eyes lit up. It was the first time he had seen her do that ever since meeting her. Had she allowed herself to relax? Had she been liberated, more or less? Or was this her look of anticipation about the outside world? It was not a bad thing, so he did not comment on it, but who was this Prince of Fenia? Still, he had the feeling that she would talk his ear off if he asked about it. He could settle any questions he had during the journey. For now, he could just take things as they came. It was only later that he learned about such a short story from her. Ah, no. People will suspect we're up to no good if we wear masks. Maybe it's not so bad. No, they'll suspect us. Is that so? The look of childish delight on Kino's face fell away, which Suzuki Satoru found both strange and new, but he hid his feelings and continued speaking. While disguising yourself implies changing your physical appearance, it also involves not doing things that will make others suspicious of you. Don't you think people will get suspicious if you don't eat a single meal with them? There were items that could do that, of course, but if they had to explain this to each and every person they met, they might end up blowing their covers by accident. Instead, it would be better not to arouse suspicion in the first place. We'll pretend to eat and sleep like other travelers, but the most important thing is taking a steam bath to cleanse ourselves of the grime of the road. A steam bath? You mean a mist sauna? Ah, they have those here too. That's right, a sauna, or a bath. The undead had no metabolism, so they would not produce waste, but dirt and dust and the like could still get their skin dirty. While it did not particularly inconvenience him, it felt better to be clean than dirty. But will we be able to enter a city, Satoru-sama? Suzuki Satoru touched his face. I'll need to think about that part. However, I'm looking for knowledgeable people. I'm sure we'll be able to find some way to enter a city without trespassing into it via magic, in order to make friendly contact with them. Kino nodded several times in approval. Therefore, well, I guess we need something for travel expenses and tolls. Of course, I have some money of my own, as well as gems and items which can be sold. Suzuki Satoru casually took a gem out of his inventory. Kino gulped as she saw a ruby that was the size of her palm. A brief shadow crossed Kino's pretty face, but the change had been so subtle that Suzuki Satoru thought that he might have been imagining things. Besides, why would such a big gemstone make her gloomy? Still, I don't know if this will be enough. We don't know how long this journey will take, and we'll probably need to give gifts when we meet these knowledgeable people, and we might also need to buy expensive items. Is it? Yes. So, if possible, can we take all the wealth in this country or this city? Of course, you'll be managing it, Kino-san. We can pay our own way during the journey. All of it. Indeed. I apologize for saying this, but these people who are now undead don't need money, do they? Who knows, some country might send in their troops to seize all their wealth too. Therefore, we should make effective use of it. Suzuki Satoru did not miss the pained expression on Kino's face. Does it displease you? I'm very sorry. That's not what I meant. If that is what you think, then I will go along with it, Satoru-sama. Kino immediately adjusted expression and put on a winning smile. Kino-san. Kino's body trembled. Please forgive me, Satoru-sama. It's fine, I'm not angry, Kino-san. We are traveling companions, and since we are companions, I think we should be honest with each other. That's all. You can tell me if you have an opinion on the matter, you know. However, Kino lowered her head after he said that. This was quite vexing for Suzuki Satoru. Kino was the one who had a better sense of how the world worked, so if she did not speak up right away, it might lead to a lethal failure. What's the matter, Kino-san? Kino hesitated for a moment, and then her face tightened up before a pained look came across her face. And then, she spoke quietly. It was as though time had reversed itself, and she was speaking in the same way she had when they had first met. However, Suzuki Satoru's keen hearing still managed to pick it up. I'm not your equal, Satoru-sama. I don't have any right to say anything given that I'm relying on your mercy, Satoru-sama. Indeed, that was the case.